Okay, we are now, this video is on how to do some testing and overriding things, okay? So here we are, we've got our service tool connected up. Press the on key. It brings up the Staefa logo and copyright. Press enter. And then controller connection, you press enter. Now it's reading parameters. Please wait. Okay, automatically we are in read-only mode, correct? So press the function key, set servicing mode, and then press the enter key. Okay, we're automatically in read-only mode. When you first turn it on, you're always in read-only mode. Press your down arrow key so that the arrow is pointing at temporary change mode. Now, temporary change mode, that is the mode that you want to be in whenever you're doing any testing. And the reason why is it's safer. It's safer for you to do that because whenever you make a change, it doesn't permanently etch it into the EEPROM. It only puts it into RAM. So now, the thing to remember though is when you come out of temporary change mode or when you disconnect this, whatever changes you made, it still stays there. It's just that it goes away when we lose power. When we lose power to the controller and it powers back up, then it loses those changes. Okay? So either way, always remember that whenever you override something, unless you want to keep it there permanently, always put it back to where you found it, right? So hit the enter key for temporary change mode. Okay, so now we are in temporary change mode. So let's override a couple things. Let's go and override the reheat valve on the VAV box. So I just know that it's parameter 66. Okay. Now, if you didn't know that, what you could do is stay in this menu right here and scroll through until you can find where it shows, I believe it's called overrides. So scroll up. Let's scroll up because I know it's around 60 something. The 60s. Keep going. Here's the A zeros. Keep going. Just keep rolling until it says output. Keep going. Two more. One more. One more. Okay, so here's on-off automatic. That's where you can, turn things on, turn things off, and override them, put them into manual or release them back to automatic. So press the enter key here. Open primary air valve. So be careful how you read that. Air valve is the damper. That's the number 60. If you go to 61, that's closed primary valve. So you got to remember that the damper motor, the damper actuator on these VAV boxes is what they call a 3-point floating. You pulse it open or you pulse it closed. So there's two different relay contacts, one to open and one to close. 60 is the relay contact that opens the damper, and 61 is the relay contact that closes the damper. Okay. Now you notice that both of them are in automatic. So if I go back to 60, it's in automatic, which means that the controller is going to decide whether it's opening or closing the damper. Okay. Let's scroll down. Again, keep going. Keep going. 66. Okay, that's our terminal heat. Right now he's in automatic mode. Okay. So if we want to test him by saying, okay, the valve is closed, I want to open it. So you press the change button, and then you press the down arrow key, or up over here, it doesn't matter. So now it reads manual, right? So press the enter key, that'll put it into manual mode, and now we're looking at the percentage. Right now it's at 18% open. Let's just say that we wanted to go to 100%. What you can do is press in 100, enter, and now it's in manual 100% open. So that's where you can go look at the valve, or you can check the discharge air temperature to see if the temperature goes up like it should, or you can put your hands on the side of the coil, on the return side of the coil, and see that it's getting warm because water is starting to enter into the coil. So that's how you can check that. Okay. Now when you're finished checking it, the thing you want to do is release them back to automatic. unless you know for sure that you want to leave it there. If you want to leave it there, just leave it alone. If you want to, if you know that you don't want to leave it in a manual mode, you have to change it back to automatic. So what you got to do is press the change button again, the down arrow key or up arrow key, doesn't matter. Now it changes to automatic, then press the enter key. Now it's back in automatic mode. Okay. If you wanted to check to see if it really was in automatic and not holding at 100% where you left it, you can go to parameter 16. I just noticed parameter 16, you know, we know that, or let me think, parameter 16 is our output values, so punch in 16, enter. So that's reading all the output values. Terminal heat's in 31%, okay? So we know that we changed it to 100, released automatic, now it's at 31, so we know it's in automatic mode. If for some reason it stayed at 100, maybe it wants to be, but probably not, because we started when it was 18, right? As fast as we did it, more than likely it was going to stay somewhere around 18. In this case, it went to 31% because it still wants heat. Now it's coming up to 33. Okay, so that's how you override a valve. Now let's assume that you want to check the operation of the damper and actually open and close it. Okay, you can check that here and do everything here, assuming that all your input values are correct. Okay, so let's go back to the 00 series for our input values, and let's look to see what the airflow is right now. Okay, so let's go hit the exit key, scroll up to input values, hit the enter key again, and then scroll down until you can see primary airflow. Keep going. Right there. Primary air volume. Right now it's telling us that it's about 699 CFM. Okay? 699, 700, something like that. Okay, let's just check to see if the valve, the primary air valve, in this case the damper, closes down like it's supposed to. We can override the close air valve parameter, which is 61, I believe. So let's go to 61. Okay, so here's our closed primary air valve, right? Now, here's the thing we got to remember. We have a pulse open and a pulse close, okay? This one here, we want to turn him on to close the damper. But the open relay, we have to turn him off. That way we make sure that they're not fighting each other, right? Okay? So let's first go to 60. And press the change key. Make him manual. Enter. And he's at manual off. Okay? So now let's go to 61. And then let's change him. No, go back. Go back. Change. Change button. And let's change him to manual on. This is going to open the damper. We'll just open the damper instead of closing it. So down or up, doesn't matter. Nope. Manual on. Okay, now enter. So now what we're doing is we're telling that thing to close. Okay, now we're telling it to close, not open. Okay, so now let's go back to, what was it, parameter 3, I think it was, right? Was it 3? Okay, let's go to 3.
3, enter.
3, enter. Okay, so now let's watch that. We should start to see him go down, because as that damper closes down, this volume will start to go down, right? That'll check to see if our damper is really working. Now, the other way you can do it if you wanted to is climb up on the ladder, open up the ceiling, and look at the actual damper. But in this case, we'll see if it's working or not. So we should start to see that close. Now that know that is a 90-second motor, which means that it takes 90 seconds to go from full open to full close, or from full close to full open. From one extreme to another, it takes 90 seconds for that damper to move. That's how slow it moves.
Okay. It may not be connected.
You guys didn't connect it?
Well, the damper may not be operating properly.
Okay. In this case, I don't think it's working. Something's not working because it's not changing. It should be changing a little bit at least.
But we know how to override it. So restoring it back to the way it should be, we want to go back to those particular points.
Yeah, 60 and 61 and release them back to automatic.
All right.
Okay.
So
For the sake of this video, what we should see that value go down, but it's not because it's probably disconnected for some reason up in the ceiling.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is not entirely 100% good
Let's go ahead and restore it back.
demonstration. Okay, so let's go back to 60 and 61, release him back to automatic, both of them, Carlos. Okay, this is your test now. Okay, we're in 62, 60 and 61. I want you to release them back to automatic.
Go back to
60. Enter.
Make him automatic. Nope. You're in 62 now. You have to change him, right?
So go back to
60.
And then hit the change button. Then go up or down. There you go.
Okay, now 60 is back in automatic because the cursor is under 60, not under automatic, right? Now let's do the same thing for 61.
I think I need to make an appointment. Pardon? Your name? Kathy, C-A-T-H-I-E. Serlet, S-E-R.
Okay, so now both of them are back in automatic. Okay?
So turning it off, just that's it? Or what do
Yeah, you know, if you're done testing at this point, you can just turn it off and then go on to do whatever you need to do next. Or if you still have some more things that you want to look at, you can scroll through and look through all the other things. Okay? All right, so for this video, we're done. That's how you override things.
Yeah, I did like
Off.
I did a whole bunch of
Thank you very much.
Okay? So that's